A lot of dudes don't realize that when they say, oh, well, you know, that one time you cried or that one time you were emotional, she lost respect. Or she sees you differently now. She sees you as soft. I don't want none of y'all to take this the wrong way, but I want to keep it real. Sometimes it's not that the crying made you look soft and made you look weak. It's that the soft dude that you actually are has been exposed. Hear me out. Sometimes, many times, we're not as tough as we want to portray ourselves to be. We have not evolved in our masculinity and at the level that we want to believe we have. We are still that little boy. We are still at that place of operating out of this fake tough. See, that toughness for many men is a wall. It's a faux confidence, a faux toughness. And then when that situation happens that breaks you down and makes you emotional, the wall goes away and now she sees you for who you really are. And so it's an unfortunate thing and it can hurt. But honestly, as a man, if you're willing to self-reflect and say, you know what? I have not gotten to a stronger place. I have not developed in the way that I need to as a man just yet. And rather than just take this as I'll never show myself vulnerable again, take this as, no, I have some things I need to learn and develop and get better with. So that in the future, when we don't operate with walls to begin with, and again, we know how to handle and process and bounce back from situations that hit us in life. All right. But let's get to the 3 reasons why you should be vulnerable. And I just explained the difference between vulnerable and emotional instability. So reason number 1 is because this is how you will expose her. What I mean by that is this. I kind of mentioned it earlier when I said, if the man cries and that woman truly loves that man, just the crying alone is not going to make her say, you know, oh, okay, I'm done with him. He's soft. He's a punk, whatever the case may be. And it shows that she can handle you having a vulnerable moment. If you hold back and you're never vulnerable, you don't see what kind of woman you're dealing with. And the reality is that at some point in life, no matter how strong you are, you may or very well will have a vulnerable moment. You want to see as early as possible what kind of woman you're dealing with. Is this a woman who will pile on in that moment of struggle? Or is this a woman who will uplift and encourage you in that moment of struggle? And I'm not saying manufacture some moment or force a moment just so you can see it. I'm just saying if it naturally comes about, let it out, let it flow. Again, not with emotional instability, but just with being transparent and honest and expressing how you feel. And I've seen, there's plenty of examples of men who opened up to the woman and man, she showed him that she got his back, that she loves him and supports him and believes in him. And now that only made him more confident in the woman that he's with. That made their relationship stronger. They were off to a better place. Where yes, there's other moments where the minute you open up, she's calling you out your name, she's disrespecting you, she's looking down at you, or a couple days later, she's throwing it back in your face. Well, now she just exposed herself to be a woman that you shouldn't be dealing with. A woman who is not either emotionally mature or emotionally healthy enough to be with, or simply is not into you, is not seriously about you. Better to know that now than to find that out years later. So open up, because now you'll see her for who she really is. The second reason why you need to be vulnerable with a woman is because you can't hold it in forever. So I talked about emotional instability. And what many fail to realize is that what creates emotional instability for the vast majority of people, if not all, is the fact that they suppress it for so long that now it starts to come out erratically and they can't control themselves anymore. Now they become extremely emotionally reactive because all that old emotional energy that you kept pushing to the side, ignoring, suppressing, is trying to force its way out. All right. So you'll have this outburst, you push it back in, you think you're okay, and you're triggered again weeks later. And it's this constant up and down roller coaster. And listen, some of y'all have seen that in the women that you date. She's all over the place emotionally, but that's because, again, she's not letting it out fully. And it's not just letting it all out in that moment of whatever is happening at that time. It's letting out all the things from her past and releasing that. So you as a man, that can happen to you too. So you've got to be able to create a space in that relationship where you can be open with your partner. Now, some may make the argument, well, you don't have to let it out to her. You can let it out to a male friend, a coach, a mentor, or whatever. And that's true. I'm not going to lie. That is true. You could achieve this by going to a third party to release how you're feeling. And it will be helpful and it will be healthy for you. However, you will undermine the ability to grow together stronger with your partner if you cannot share things with her. All right. So constantly holding back from her is going to create a level of secrecy in the relationship. Secrecy will create insecurity. Insecurity will create confusion. Confusion will create chaos. Some of you are dealing with women who seem to just be upset at the stupidest, littlest thing, right? And it just seems to always be just out of nowhere. And I'm not saying this is always the case, but in some cases, what's happening is her frustration about your lack of transparency with her is boiling over into other things. She starts to nitpick at you and create fights because you won't let her in. And sometimes she's creating a problem, hoping to get a reaction out of you, hoping to see what you're thinking and how you feel. All right. So she's poking the bear on purpose. And it's unhealthy. It's not okay, but it's partially happening because you're not being an open book with your partner. And if you can't be an open book with her, why are you with her, bruh? It doesn't make sense. It's pointless. You should have a woman that you can talk to. If you can't, that's a problem. Now, it's one thing if you say to me, well, let me at least go talk to someone else first, process my emotions, kind of get a level head about it before I go talk to my woman, so that when I come to her, I'm at a better place to where I can better communicate things. That's perfectly okay. I would even encourage that for many of you, at least starting off. That's fine until you build a strong enough rapport with your partner to where, you guys can better handle that. That's fine. I think that's great. But you can't, to leave her out completely is gonna cause problems. And even if you think, well, she doesn't know, so why would it be a problem? Women know. When I say women know, they know. They're picking up on every little detail. They're noticing something's different. They're noticing your energy's off. And then when you provide no clarity to what's going on, it starts to cause problems within them. And then what happens with many women is when you don't give them, let me say this, even when you give a woman clarity, sometimes she will still create stories in her head. All right. And it will create problems. But if you don't give her clarity, you can almost guarantee she's coming up with all kinds of potential scenarios in her head that will drive herself crazy and then in turn drive you crazy. So the more transparent and open you can be, the better chance at a healthy relationship. And I will say this again, if you're saying to me, Stephan, that does not work. No, that does not work with the wrong woman. With the right one, it will. And again, as I said in point 1, this will help you see if she's good for you or not. All right. And now the third reason why a man should be vulnerable with a woman, with his woman, is because it will nurture a deeper bond. So I kind of alluded to it in the previous points, and I'll just quickly reiterate it now. Again, you want to, letting her into your world, letting her know how you feel, creates a greater level of security and peace in the relationship. It allows her to feel closer to you. It allows her to feel more valued by you. All right. It allows her to feel more loved, feel more special with you. This is a good thing. And again, I feel like I have to say it. That it for those of you thinking, nah, that just does not work. That does not work with the wrong woman. And to add more perspective to that, because you might say, well, I've tried that with multiple women and it never worked. They were all wrong. The majority of women you're going to meet are not good for you. And when I say not good for you, not because they're bad people, all right, horrible individuals. They are not the right fit for you. They are not in alignment with you. They do not complement you and your life. So when you get with someone who is not in alignment with you, who does not complement you, you're going to have things go left. You're going to have breaks in the relationship, disconnects, things that just won't seem to come together smoothly. That doesn't mean the fundamental principle is wrong. It just means you're trying it with the wrong person. All right. So again, understand that this is a good principle when the goal is healthy, loving, successful relationships. We're not talking about just dating casually. If that's what you're trying to do, that's a whole different ball game. But for those of you who want something real, something serious, and really want to make it work, be willing to be open and vulnerable with that woman. It will be one of the best things you could do. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. And again, some of these things can get very tricky because if the woman has not healed, there are situations where a woman could be in love with you, but because she has not healed, she's scared.